Yo, as we come down to the fourth quarter of 2020, where you could clearly see that through all the media, the so-called mainstream colonial media hype is that they've been dominating us. You clearly see that this shit will go down as a victory for so-called black people around the world. You could clearly see that this was a year. We lost a lot, but we gained a lot too. Uh, I've been saying it for years that so-called black people, we call ourselves Moors, Israelites, Africans. All these names, these are all us. These are just different words we use to identify ourselves. Australia, Aborigines, Papua New Guinea. You know what I'm saying? Moros in the South, and Brazil. Border Cane. And so we're naturally headed back to another what they would call a renaissance and a golden age. You had at least 7 golden ages on this planet. They talk about a lot about the ones in Egypt. You had about at least 3 in Egypt. You get what I'm saying? You can think about people like Mansa Musa. You got to come to America when they talk about this gold rush. In Europe, you have to remember you had golden. Naturally, you have golden ages. See, they have socialized out of you, or let's say more suppressed because it's still in you. The time when you like John Henry Clark say, nation builder. You were a nation builder. And people are like, what do you mean? I can understand. You know how you a carpenter and you go to somebody's crib and you fix a wall? Well, nation building it's kind of like real estate in a certain way. You build all these houses for like business and political things, and then you pay people to administrate. So let's give an example. Say you like in Africa, you evade somewhere. Okay, cool. I build these so set up these systems, and then let people come through these systems to administrate and get things done. Oh, you want so and so? Well, we got this. We got okay. Well, we use this system, monetary system, and so we are headed back to that. See, they are fighting every day for us to go to their school. That's why they want to rush us back to these schools too, in a certain sense, because this their way to keep our minds. But see, as we out of these schools now, and you on social media, you're hearing historical stories that you never even heard before. You hearing people telling you about how the real Santa is Saint Nicholas, a dark-skinned Turkish man, so-called black man. Christmas is ancient Kemetic. Jesus and all them. Haru, you better study this stuff. And they have to rush us back to their school so they can keep this brainwashing techniques going, because you're not going to learn the true history in school. As a matter of fact, the school is going to 99%, I ain't gonna say mostly all these European schools are going to push you away from that. But the good thing is, nature will naturally fight and bring you back to where you're going to be. Nature knows you, because when you try to brainwash somebody out of, I always tell people, if we use the word God, history is God. This is the story. So how you gonna try to manipulate that and then thinking you gonna get something beneficial from that? History is God. That's like somebody miseducating you about the animals, and you don't really know. What you really don't really fully know is black people, because you haven't been able to look at your ancestors' documents yet to really get the full scope of what they were saying. The people who Darwin studied, and it makes like Darwin came up with this evolution. He was studying another more. So like I said, we'll get to that another time too. But yeah, you're definitely headed for a golden age. You're definitely headed for a renaissance, because you're living in a world now that, first of all, it was suppressed that this world even exists. So as we think we're growing, remember, it's levels to this. So you're just snap, boom, you're getting it. But now as you grow in it, and your kids, because what we talking about now, boom, I got it. My kid got it. My kid got it. My kid, now you're back doing this. You're coming out the womb and you're doing it. And see, that's why I tell people all the time, my money always been on black people, the people you call black, the Negroes. Because I'm a guy that always plays sports fanatic, but as I'm looking at, one thing I know about sports, those who down always come up. and those who up come down. So black people, you was up. That's one thing I think in school you're not really being emphasized too, is that yeah, there was slavery, but right before slavery, you were ruling the world. That's so important for you to know. It wasn't like you were just chilling in Africa. They came, found you, slaved you, even though you was in America too, right? But it's the fact that you were the one ruling the world. And when they enslaved you, they became the people who ruled the world. So when you weren't enslaved, you ruled the world. When they enslaved you, they ruled the world. And that's so important to know, because when you play sports, these are the type of things that you use to make sure that you still fight to come back to win the game. And so as you remember, every time I ruled the world, it makes it just now you fight towards that goal. Not only a time, most times you were in control of the world, administrating, because you were a nation builder. That's why I'm going to do a podcast too about how we have to get back into nation building. We have to get back into talking about nation building. Or we say black nationalists. Make sure you proclaim your nationality, because those are your human rights. Proclaim it. So that's why I just wanted to go ahead and say, hey, no matter how hard, how crazy it looks, it's tumbling. It's just that you're headed for another golden age. You're headed for another renaissance. That's why you hear people talking about the age of Aquarius, 1221. But when we talk about these calendars, you got to realize that it's the reason they had these calendars. You know what I'm saying? That's like when it get cold, how it get cold and it affect your day. How it get warm and it affect your day. The cosmos will affect your day. It will affect everything on this planet. When they say as above, so below, well, let's keep it simple. In some sense, if it's cold outside, so if it's cold coming from the top, I'm not doing nothing most times. I'm in the crib. If it's hot, I'm outside. It's just as simple as that, but it goes even deeper because you got to remember, we used to master watching the stars. See, we got to really start establishing from hood to hood, Inglewood and Chicago to Compton to Houston, New York, Brooklyn, all that. We got to start having people that sit back and watch the stars for us at night. Now, it sounds crazy because we have been socialized out of that, but we have to study this universe. Look at the moon. It ain't up there for nothing. So we got to have people that look up there for us and then tell us what they see, other than us listen to these Europeans all the time, right? And so that's why I wanted to, because this is what we was doing before we got colonized and enslaved, stuff like that. And we must be doing it for a reason. It must have been some type of benefit for it. And so that's what I just wanted to get on here, and I wanted to say, hey, this your boy J. Pillar Bay. We Winning Records. I also own Ancient Kushite, Global Empire Media, some other business ventures. But I wanted to get on here and say that you are headed for another golden age. And whether you like it or not, nature's going to force you there. It's going to force you there. Just like how it get hot, nature force you to take your clothes off when you get too hot, you get too cold. Nature force you to put your clothes on. Nature's going to force you to become what you always been for thousands of years, whether you like it or not. Whether you think we doing so bad, there's no way for us to come up. Because you have been up and down, and you have been up and down. And that's also what has not really been emphasized to you. Sometimes we was down, we was fighting each other, So that's why it's so important for us to know it. But I would definitely still encourage all listeners to go read Herodotus and Plato. Go read all of them. Go read all these Greek philosophers. Go read what these Europeans are saying is the basis of what they feel they know. And when you read the Greeks, you're going to hear the Greeks talk about how they went to Africa and how everything is so organized. And we got to realize we was already in Greece. So you got to even start to dig deeper into that, which they call the Minoan culture. But I want to let you know, nature is talking to you now. Next year is going to be the 100-year anniversary of the destruction of Black Wall Street. So now we're talking about 100 years of a business pillar destroyed, and how is that going to affect us energy-wise next year? So, I just want to come on, send some light encouragement. Like I say, nature is talking to you. You see people talking about age of Aquarius, conjunction. They want you to focus on all these colonial political games. You can do that if you want to. I would still dialogue with you on that. But for those who really are astute, who have really took the time to study, travel, yeah, you're going to see some things coming up that you never thought existed. So I was just saying, so enjoy and keep studying and keep digging. Because remember, they still got our stuff in their museums, still got our ancestors' books. And I was just watching, too, some on KT Arts Degree. And I'm going to get my cuz, Loke Dog. Shout out to cuz, though. I'm going to get him on here, too, a podcast. We're definitely going to talk about some things. And some other people, too. But I was watching some of KT Arts Degree with this brother something. And he was talking about the Black Panther. He was talking about how Kenya says Disney has commercialized their ancient practices, which basically are ancient practices. And they're basically saying that they don't want Disney to get $1 billion. They want our community to get the $1 billion. And I'm with that. So I want you to check that out, too, on his page. Because we got to start holding our assets. Just like the Chinese, you go in Chinatown, like somebody said to me the other day, we don't got no business down there. Who I was just talking about, they was like, you go down there, you can't even open a business as a black person. Behind the business they got in our community. I'm trying to think who I talked to yesterday about that. But that's why I wanted to get into talking about this Renaissance, because, it's natural, because, they try to make it seem like we invaded Spain in 1711. No, we never. That was our land already, because Spain is really Africa. We just reconquered what was ours. And really all of that, even Europe is ours. So, and these are things that the world naturally knew before colonization and slavery. And that's kind of why I wanted to touch on earlier. I'll be like, you got to remember, no matter how successful you are as a so-called black person, there was a time when you were in control. You had a whole different swag than you got right now. Right now, your swag is you being oppressed, how I'm ever get up out of this. But there was a time where it was just known, don't fuck with these black motherfuckers on top of their stuff. They got it, they in order, they got their money right, they dressing fresh, their technology and intuition is godlike. And they knew, they came to you instantly without any hesitation. You still fought people and kicked them butts too. You kicked a lot of butt, you know what I'm saying? Because we ain't play around with the bow and arrows and swords and all that. But you must remember, like, it was a time where, man, your swag was like on Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali. So that's what I wanted to come touch on. And that's why I was wanting us to become content curators, I was saying, of our history and our destiny. Because it's a different time, because so much information has came out quickly. And it's like the seed, and it is growing. It's growing until we naturalize these habits. So that's why I'm like, hey, you're headed for a renaissance. Whether you doing good or not, just the fact all the information is out. That's why they're trying to censor things on social media, because they probably never imagined that it would have spread quicker as it have. But other than that, check out my new video, The Medicine, and my interview with He Real. I got more upcoming videos. Me stuff at the Black Chicago Museum and other spots. Definitely supposed to get up with my uncle, Harvard professor Stephen Rogers, and I'm gonna definitely get some of my other people who do real estate on here and history on here to definitely inform you. But other than that, I'm signing off, and I'm telling you, Amen Ra, as they say, Amen Ra. Enjoy it. Enjoy the journey. We winning, baby. Talk to y'all soon. We head to 2021. The 100-year anniversary of them hated on Black Wall Street, and we out.